Famous rock stars who lost millions. There's something about rock music that makes people go wild. No wonder rock stars tend to go wild as well. And sometimes, they even go wild and crazy. No surprise, they're most likely to lose millions. Today, let's see who are the famous rock stars who lost millions. But first, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay updated on the latest in the luxury world. At Luxury Mindset, we bring you all luxurious information ranging from items, cars, houses, places, and even people who bathe in luxury. Not only that, but we also give you pretty much the amount you would need to purchase any of these luxurious stuff. So if you're interested in the rich, becoming rich, or even dreaming of lying on a mattress of gold or dollar bills, click the notification bell to keep yourself updated on this channel. Let's start with Lemmy Kilmister, the Motorhead frontman, who was a rock legend who toured a lot and was famous since the 1970s. But when he died in 2015, his net worth was thought to be $8 million. However, he actually had only about $650,000. This was because of his spending habits, like buying drugs, alcohol, and war memorabilia. So despite his fame, his finances were in bad shape. Then there's Goo Goo Dolls' quite sympathetic story. They started as young musicians, excited to sign with a record label. But they didn't realize that their contract took away a big part of their earnings. This happened from the late 1980s until 1995. Even though they toured and worked hard, they needed part-time jobs to get by. Then suddenly, one song made them super popular. Their album A Boy Named Goo was a huge success, selling millions of copies. You might think they could quit their regular jobs and live like rich rock stars. But it wasn't that simple because of their contract. According to the contract, each member got only $6,000 a year from the label, which was way less than what they deserved after their big success. Luckily, they sued the label and actually won the lawsuit. Next is Rocky Erickson, the lead singer of the 13th Floor Elevators, who faced an incredible financial downfall in a unique story. In 1969, he was caught with a small amount of marijuana. Instead of a typical punishment, he was treated unfairly by law enforcement and prosecutors. To avoid a 10-year prison sentence, Rocky took an unusual path. He pleaded not guilty due to insanity. This led to him being sent to a facility for the criminally insane. While he was in the facility, his finances were also mishandled and got out with almost no money left. He worked hard to rebuild his financial stability on top of all the difficulties he had already faced. Thankfully, later in his life, his music became popular again, which helped him financially. Next is David Crosby, who formed successful bands twice. He first formed Band of Birds, then Crosby, Stills and Nash. He also had a recurring pattern of crashing cars under the influence with concealed weapons. He crashed with cocaine and got caught with a weapon, but was later acquitted. In 1984, he got probation for driving drunk with a suspended license. A year later, he crashed again with drugs and a weapon, leading to prison for a hit and run. These events hurt his finances. After prison, he struggled financially, sleeping in a spare room and borrowing from his friends. He made a comeback by performing, but his troubles continued. In 2004, he was arrested for drugs and a hidden weapon. His life resembled a stuck record, replaying troubles repeatedly. Next on the list is Meatloaf. Meatloaf's appearance on this list isn't surprising. In the 1980s, he suspected his record company was lying about album sales. This matched his eccentric and distrustful reputation. He faced legal action with his ex-producer, manager, and publisher, leading to 45 lawsuits worth $85 million. Overwhelmed, he declared bankruptcy in the 1990s. Later, his legal team used better accounting tech and found out he was right. His record company actually owed him $14 million, a huge amount in 1996. His concerns were valid, as the lawyer confirmed. If you were Meatloaf, what would you have done upon the proof he was right all along? Just like Meatloaf, Tom Petty also had problems with his company. He realized his label was manipulating money to reduce his earnings. Despite making successful albums, he didn't see much money. So he made a new album on his own. He didn't let the label release it, but he owed them $500,000. He filed for bankruptcy in 1979. This move was actually smart. The label sued him to stop him from performing, but it backfired. The lawsuit stopped because of his bankruptcy, and the label lost money without his concerts. Petty also embarrassed them by saying he only earned $36,000 the year before. The music industry worried other artists might copy Petty, so the label gave in and offered him a better contract worth $3 million. This success didn't stop other musicians from trying similar things after Petty. Of course, we can't miss Billy Joel. Despite his huge success, he had some bad decisions. He got married many times, with one marriage leading to a painful divorce. Then he hired his ex-wife's brother Frank Weber, who ended up stealing a lot of money from Joel's accounts, around $10 million. He even used Joel's copyrights without permission. Joel sued him for $90 million, but Frank declared bankruptcy to avoid paying. Then we have Jerry Lee Lewis, a famous musician who helped shape rock and roll, who faced bankruptcy despite his prominence. It started when he married his 13-year-old second cousin, which upset many people and led to fewer music sales. Then, in 1979, the IRS claimed he owed $274,000 in back taxes, a lot for that time. They took his belongings, like a tractor, to sell but didn't get enough money. He still owed most of the debt. In 1985, they took things again, like a jet ski and a mechanical bull. His debt grew to $2 million to the IRS and another million to others by 1988. Luckily, he eventually got back on his feet financially. Next is Pete Doherty. Known for his rebellious presence in British rock, Pete gained fame easily. He became popular in 1997 as the frontman for the Libertines. His wild lifestyle led the band to part ways due to drug use and jail time. Yet, he quickly formed a new band, the Baby Shambles. Despite the new band's success, Doherty struggled financially. Bad decisions, spending, and addiction nearly ruined him. Leaked records show a $25,000 loss for his business Time Will. Doherty connected with Kate Moss, who supported him and let him stay with her. This ended in 2010, and he performed small acoustic gigs for a little pay. With the Libertines reunion, Doherty's luck improved. Just 2 shows earned the band $2 million. Then we have Courtney Love, a recognized rock star who faced financial troubles tied to Kurt Cobain's music rights, inherited after his death. Intoxicated and under the influence of substances, her wealth dwindled despite her Nirvana connection. Love claims he was coerced into signing documents, losing around $530 million. Frances Bean Cobain, her daughter, has a different view. Love's spending on drugs, depression, and lawsuits wasted $27 million. Both Love and Frances lived with Love's stepfather to avoid homelessness. Love borrowed $2.7 million from Frances' trust fund. Love also had tax issues with the IRS 4 times, owing thousands. She owed her psychiatrist $48,000. The fate of the Nirvana fortune remains uncertain, a tangled story unlikely to be understood. Lastly, we have Mick Fleetwood, who started a really successful music group. Given the success, he should have had lots of money for his whole life. His album Rumors was one of the top-selling albums ever. But surprisingly, the drummer of Fleetwood Mac has had money troubles many times, and he doesn't even know how many times. How did this happen? Well, he simply spent all his money. He says he didn't make as much money as the other band members because he didn't write songs, but that shouldn't have stopped him from getting really rich. He could have done that if he didn't buy really expensive mansions all the time. Also, he talked about spending a huge $8 million on cocaine, which definitely made him lose even more money. Do you know these rock stars? What are your thoughts on their life choices? And if you enjoyed this video, please click the notification bell to stay updated on the latest in the luxury world. Only here at Luxury Mindset.